Ground control to Major Tom.
We've been expecting you, Mr. Boyd.
Pandeliga hola boo. Good morning. I have a very interesting question I want to ask you. It's one of those questions which, when you first hear it, you assume an answer, and then, after just a few moments' thought, maybe even a few seconds' thought, certainly after you've been confronted with some concrete evidence, and also, of course, that thing which we like to think is almost unique to this programme, an unusual way of looking at it, you completely change your mind. You get an absolutely flip view on what you thought before. So here comes the question. And it's actually a question which you may think will be determined by whether you're male or female. But I promise you there is a great deal more to it than that, because we're people first, aren't we? And men and women second, yeah. So here comes the question. And to a certain extent, it may be that it's your age, you may think, that determines what you think in response to this question. But it's not. It's nothing to do with that. It simply has to do with being able to put yourself in everybody else's position. Now, here comes the question. Free call 0500 10 53 89. What's worse, menstruating or going bald? What's worse? Which is the greatest curse? Which would you most rather didn't ever happen to you? Free call 0500 10 53 89. Up until I thought about it, I would naturally, like you, have assumed that the obvious and only answer to this question is menstruating is far worse than going bald. I would have assumed that because that's what you're supposed to think. Why? Because that's what all the magazine articles are about. Okay? That's what all the awareness days are about. That's what all the clandestine conversations about and the heavy-duty chat are about. That's what all the sessions are about. All men who are trying to be modern men have had to take on board what it's like to be a woman, you see. There's just a weight of conversation that's happened about menstruation compared to the absolute vacuum which exists in connection with this male curse, male pattern baldness. I'll tell you what's worse, going bald by a street. I would far rather have periods than risk losing my hairline. I swear I would. And you, sir, you know you would too, wouldn't you? And if you thought about it, madam, I am sure you will come round to my way of thinking on this one. Going bald is much worse than having periods. And I've got a stack of evidence which proves it. Look at this. Listen to me. Menstruation has purpose. Okay, there is a purpose behind it. A fine purpose. Baldness doesn't. Baldness has no purpose whatsoever. None. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's ludicrous. That's number one. Number two, menstruation is only monthly. Going bald happens on a daily basis. When you start going bald, you will be just as bald tomorrow as you were yesterday, if not more bald. Number three, menstruation reminds the host of her youth and her vitality and her potential on planet Earth. Baldness just reminds men that they're getting old and they're going to die. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm right, aren't I? Baldness is much worse than menstruating. Number four, menstruation goes away. By about the age of somewhere between 48 and 53, it stops, it's over. And women find new vigour, strength and energy. But baldness is forever. Once it starts, it is forever. Unless you've got more money than sense. But none of those preparations work. All those operations. Number five, menstruation is secret. No one knows about it. Whereas nothing could be more public than going bald. Men don't go bald on their chest. They don't go bald anywhere else, except the only place where they can't really cover it up because you can't wear hats indoors, although we try. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Number six, menstruation does have medications which help to at least alleviate some of the symptoms. All right? There is absolutely no cure. There's not even an analgesic which is available to help with baldness. Number seven, menstruation doesn't affect your allure. Women are just as attractive no matter what part of their cycle they're enjoying. Baldness makes men look daft. It does. I don't care what anybody says. It does. There's no way of dealing with it which is anything other than ignominious. You see, these stack up, don't they? I haven't finished yet. Menstruation is cheap. Baldness is very expensive. All those hats, all those special shampoos, all those catalogues you send off for various treatments. Do you know how much a toupee is? Ask Sean Connery. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Menstruation is community rich. That is to say, it is something that all women experience. It is an experience which they can all share and all understand in each other. Baldness is selective. Some smug beggars keep their hair. You've all seen those 73-year-old men walking around. They may have sticks and Zimmer frames, but if they've got a full head of hair, they've won. They've achieved. They've done something the rest of us didn't. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Baldness sets men against men. And number 10. With menstruation, women's partners are affected, often adversely, by their periods. This draws the whole family into the condition. With baldness, men suffer, as with so many other things, alone. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Interesting one, this. You never thought you'd end up thinking what you're going to think at 3 o'clock. What's worse, menstruation or baldness? I swear it's baldness. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. Our first caller is Mary in Hales Owen. You're on Talk Radio, Mary.
Is that Tommy?
Yes?
Yeah, this is Mary.
It is.
I've been going deaf for the last 10 years. I've got a deaf phone here, and I'd rather go bald than be deaf because nobody wants to know you when you're deaf. If you have a hearing aid on, you can hear background noise when you're in a crowd.
Yes, we're talking about menstruation, not deafness, Mary.
Oh, I thought you were talking about deafness there. Okay, then. Right.
All right, okay, thanks.
Oh, I'd rather be menstruating than going deaf.
Yeah, I know, it's not about going deaf. It's about baldness. Are you going bald?
No.
Are you menstruating?
No, because I'm 79.
You're out of the discussion.
Okie doke.
We'll do deafness tomorrow.
Bye, Tommy.
We'll do deafness tomorrow. What would you rather be, deaf or, I don't know? Beverly calls from Dundee. You're on Talk Radio, Beverly.
Hi, Tommy. That was brilliant.
Wasn't it?
That was a really surreal conversation.
You couldn't write it, could you? People would say, no, that doesn't happen.
Well, I'm actually going to agree with you, Tommy.
Yes.
I would hate to be completely bald. And I don't mind periods because I can be really narky for about 4 days before and get away with it.
Exactly.
And if I had my way, I could be narky all the time and just have periods all the time. But I was just going to make one point. If men are going to menstruate, can they have the babies as well, please?
No. Leave pregnancy out of this. This is not fair.
Is it not follow on? Well, where are they going to put tampons?
No, I'm not saying that men could menstruate. What I'm saying is...
it's a hypothetical kind of what you rather do.
No, I'd just like women to think about baldness because for 15 years men have had to think about menstruation, you see.
But women do go bald, and I think it's far worse for women.
They don't!
Oh, they do. Some women have terrible alopecia.
No, alopecia is totally different. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about male pattern baldness. Alopecia
it's hereditary. As soon as they come out and look at their dad's napper, they're going to know.
No, that's not true. And in any case, why have you women got no sympathy for men with this curse of baldness?
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, great, thanks. Supposing I went on the radio and said I thought having periods is hilarious, serves you right. Where would I end up? Radio Authority or not?
Where you end up every day, Tommy, having huge arguments with most of the south of England, and the north of England and Scotland don't take you seriously at all. We know you're just out for a joke.
On this occasion, I am not. I would genuinely far rather menstruate than go bald.
Well, look at Grant from EastEnders. I mean, he's quite sexy.
That's shaved. That's different.
Well, he's still quite sexy.
But
Duncan Goodhue.
It's shaved. You don't understand. I'm talking about this moment when you look in the mirror for the first time in your male life and you notice that some of your forehead is bigger than it was yesterday.
My husband's is a bit like that.
Yeah.
Kind of waving goodbye to his head.
Well, talk to him about it. Help him.
Why?
Why? Because it's a tragedy. I've been through it. It reminds you that you're going to die one day.
Well, he just pays pays his hairdresser a rearrangement fee now.
Oh, you're so flip. How can you be flip about this thing? Don't you realise how men are weeping inside on a daily basis, how they never miss an opportunity to glance in a darkened shop window to see their reflection in the fleeting, faint hope that perhaps some hair will have grown where this morning they lost it, you know? Oh, it is a terrible thing. I've survived a lot of emotional crises in my life simply because I'm able to remind myself that I do have, at 44, a full head of hair. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Kevin calls from Lancashire. You're on Talk Radio. Kevin.
Yes, well, I'd much rather be... I'm as bald as a coot, and I'd rather be that way than go through the agony that my wife went through with her menstruation.
Yeah, but it's over.
It's not. Well, it is, because she had a hysterectomy to stop the pain.
Well, it's over then, isn't it?
And I've got 3 daughters, and the cost of the sanitary things every month is a cost of fortune.
Yeah, well, your hats are just as expensive.
No, I only have to buy one.
Well, you're not very fashion conscious, are you? Where do you live?
In Wigan.
Well, I mean, lighten up a little bit. You got that one check flat cap, and you think that's going to do you?
Don't wear flat caps, they blow off.
No, I mean, you see, the point is simply this, Kevin. Your baldness, when did you start to go bald?
When I was 15.
You didn't like it, did you?
Not then, but it doesn't bother me now.
Liar.
I'm not bothered about being bald.
Yes, you are. Don't lie. Don't lie. Come on.
They use me as a white ball on the snooker table.
Yeah, but inside you're crying, man. Here you are making all these public jokes about it, but inside, you know, that was your youth, that was your vitality, that was your vigour. It all went. You were an old baldy, weren't you?
Oh, well, truthfully, I would much rather be as I am now.
Yeah, you were a slaphead, weren't you?
The way my wife did.
You were a slaphead, weren't you?
Yeah.
Chrome dome.
Used too much Brill cream, so the doctor told me.
Yeah. It's all right, Kevin. I know your pain. I understand that you're dealing with it by this little show of bravado. But my heart goes out to you. Your wife's cured now. She had a hysterectomy, you know.
Yeah.
She's fine. Isn't she? She's going to get better. You're never going to have hair.
That's true.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
See?
True.
Yeah. We call 0500 10 53 89. Nigel calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Nigel, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Tom. I was
Nigel.
listening intently to your conversations since your programme started. I thought the worst would be having periods of baldness. Be even worse, wouldn't it?
No, that would be better.
What, combining the two?
If you had periods of baldness, then at least you would know when you were going to have a full head of hair, so you could go out on the pool. You could time your weekends out to the nightclub with your full head of hair.
You're suggesting it by sort of a calendar month, are you? Sort of so many days a month you would have it?
No, you were. Sorry about this.
No, but on a serious note, I wouldn't like to have periods. I think it must be very uncomfortable for women because, of course, you know, it's difficult. They would change their clothes a little bit more frequently. And of course, some women today do find guys with sort of shaven heads more attractive. I don't know why they do. I think guys with sort of shaven cropped heads and big gold earrings look rather awful myself.
Stop trying to be modern. Why is it that nobody wants to give sympathy to men ever?
Well, I am giving sympathy to men, but what I don't understand is that some guys have a wonderful head of hair. Yeah. I'm lucky. I'm 39. I've still got all my hair. But some guys like this shaven, rugged look, don't they? Yeah. And women like to sort of stroke it. It's so wonderful. They're like sort of hunky, macho men,
yes,
don't they?
We're pussyfooting around the main issue here. Going bald is much worse than having periods.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. No question about it, man.
Why?
Well, look. Didn't you hear what I stacked up? I stacked up 10 key points, all of which pointed to baldness being more damaging to the emotions than menstruation.
Yeah, but
have you got anything to redress that balance?
Of course I have, because you see, if you're bald, Tom, you haven't got to keep looking after it. It's there. It's one of those things that's gone. All you've got to do is just make sure your head's clean. But having periods is more difficult, more uncomfortable, more sort of change of clothes, more sort of worry what you can do, where you can go, and you know, sort of the activities you can perform.
Yeah, there may well be something in what you said, but it was so waffly, I'm not quite clear what the point was. Are you saying that everybody's hair falls out suddenly in a great big wig overnight?
No, what I'm saying to you is that guys who are bald or are losing their hair, once they've lost it, it's gone. There's nothing they can do about it. They don't have to tend it anymore.
Now, Nigel, don't be ridiculous. You know perfectly well that hair loss doesn't happen like that.
Of course it does.
Of course it doesn't.
It all depends on the genes, Tommy, doesn't it? I mean, some people lose their hair in a very rapid fashion. Some people lose their hair over a long period of time.
What do you do?
Now you're waffling now, Tommy.
What do you do?
What do I do?
I'm really worried in case you do something responsible and you honestly believe that people's hair drops out in a great lump and then doesn't change for 20 years. What happens with baldness is that at the age of 23 or 15, in the case of that last poor man who rang in, you notice a couple of little avenues here or a slight bit of skin in a photograph taken of you on holiday.
The odd solar panel appearing.
Yeah. And then 6 weeks later, right?
And all of a sudden you're suggesting the man's ego is dented.
Yeah. And they can't talk to anybody about it. They've got to make light of it.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
I actually feel sorry in one respect, because, of course, people start taking the mickey out of them, don't they? They say, oh, hello, Baldy,
And the biggest contributor to the problem is men like you.
No.
Yes.
No, tell me.
Yes.
You're only gloating because you've got a full head of hair.
A huge, luxuriant head of hair. Fantastic head of hair. Glorious
We'll
it
see
is.
one of those hair magazines shortly, Tommy, won't we? Your hair sort of coiffed up, looking, positive, saying baldness isn't for me.
Free call 0500 10 53 89. It is a fact. Going bald is a bigger shock to the system than menstruating. Men aren't prepared for going bald. Their parents don't sit them down and say, now, son, one day all your hair's going to fall out. No, your sisters won't, but yours will. And you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that it means that you're getting older and you're going to die. Because that's what it is. It is a clear indication that your body is mortal and that it is declining. What a stark, horrible thing to put before somebody every single time they check themselves in the mirror, which is 10 times a day. Just not out of vanity, just out of personal grooming. Eileen calls from Aberdeen. You're on Talk Radio, Eileen. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm ringing to say that you don't know what you're talking about. For instance, have you ever fainted? Are you listening? I seem to be cut off altogether. Oh, well, never mind.
Oh, sorry, I was just coming round. Sorry, what was it you said?
Have you ever fainted? Because I think if you have a census of the females, you know that quite a number of them have fainted.
Rubbish.
Whereas most men, have you ever fainted?
Yes, of course I fainted.
Well, most men have not. My husband was nearly 60 before he fainted, and it was because he'd been given Valium or something. He was so unfamiliar with his feeling, he didn't know he was going to faint.
You don't faint when you're having a period.
But you can do.
No, you don't. Don't make stuff
with
up.
Fluctuations in their blood sugars and things, which men do not.
I have known men who have had to go to psychiatrists who have been put on tranquilizers because they are going bald. Have you ever been on tranquilizers?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I've had them pushed at me many a time. Most of the time I
Why would that be?
Well, I don't think I should go into these personal points, but I would also like to say, when you're young,
I'm sorry, my darling, this is Talk Radio. This is a phone-in program where we...
having blood on the back of your dress.
I'm sorry, you can't ring up and say, have I ever fainted? And I say yes, and then I say to you, have you been on tranquilizers? What for? And you, we don't talk about that. This is Talk Radio.
I'm not telling you why. If you're put on tranquilizers, it's obvious because you've got some kind of emotional psychiatric problem.
So where's the shame in that, then?
Well, all I can say is I'm not ashamed of it. I don't think it's apropos, the discussion about
It is
baldness
totally
and menstruating.
apropos, the discussion, because we are talking about emotional difficulties, and baldness is an emotional difficulty for men.
I agree, men do get emotional. As a matter of fact, I've got a son-in-law who's very cut up about it, and in favour of men who are going bald, it's not just a question of forgetting about your hair, because this particular individual has to sort of nurture his poor scalp, because he's very prone to being sore and skin coming off and sunburn and all that sort of thing.
Far worse than having periods.
Rubbish.
You women are just precious about your periods.
Well, I don't have them anymore, but if I wouldn't, I mean, it's just part of the beast. I'm not particularly sorry we have
What do you mean
periods.
a beast? What is a beast? It's not a beast at all. It's magnificent. It's glorious. I envy you in the whole process.
Well, all I can say is what a pity you can't have them for a while, as I keep saying.
I would love to have them because they're not dissimilar from certain pre-senile dementias. It's the people around the people who are having periods who have problems.
Well, this is what I mean about women being a sort of slave to their emotions and their hormones.
Shut up.
And as I say, there is a little difficulty, and most women have experienced this, of getting home and finding there's blood on the back of your dress or whatever, which can be terribly embarrassing, and then going somewhere and finding you've suddenly come on, as the expression goes, and you haven't got the wherewithal to deal with the problem.
It's still not as bad as realising you're going bald. I promise you, you'll never know, and you've never thought about it. I've read magazine articles about periods for the last 15 years. I probably know more about them than you do. Right? So don't tell me I don't know what
highly unlikely.
I think it is not. All right, then name the two main hormones, right, whose imbalance tends to cause the emotional ups and downs associated with the period.
Progesterone and estrogen, and I happen to have a degree in developmental biology, so I don't think you'll teach me much about the hormones.
All right, then, okay, then let's try it, shall we? That's quite interesting. All right, you ask me one then. Go on, then.
Well, it's hormonal that men lose their hair. It's a question of if they want to keep the hair, they don't keep the testosterone. That's what it comes down to.
It's got nothing to do with testosterone.
Oh, yes, it has.
It's entirely
you can treat
hereditary.
baldness by getting rid of people's testosterone.
It is nothing to do with testosterone at all. It is entirely genetic. It's male pattern baldness.
Male pattern baldness is a gene which, if you happen to have it, you go bald when your testosterone's flowing.
Like your grandfather did.
Well,
so
probably.
It's not a gene, is it? It's a recessive gene. So that's a no to all those in developmental biology like you.
I can assure you that if you get rid of your testosterone, you won't get bald. The trouble is, of course, men don't want to get rid of their testosterone, and it's hardly surprising they don't.
Well, I'm just glad you're out of the business, that's all, because...
I'm not in the business, but I can only say...
Unsympathetic women like you...
said, by the way, and it's apropos of not this at all...
Will you not say apropos?
Males...
I hate apropos.
Do not get damaged as they get older, and that is entirely wrong too.
I never said that.
Oh, yes, you did. I wish I'd taken a recording of it.
I never said that.
Yes, you
I'm
did.
not stupid, Eileen.
You did say that, and it was entirely wrong, and I don't think you should have said it. Anyway, cheerio.
I trained as a doctor. A terrible woman. Free call 0500 10 53 89. What are we doing putting people like that on the radio? Right. Made a complaint. Matthew calls from London. You're on Talk Radio. Matthew, good afternoon.
Hello there, Tommy.
What's worse, going bald or menstruating?
Well, going bald, I would have thought.
Absolutely.
And also shaving. I mean, men bleed as well, don't we? I mean, especially when you cut yourself after a shave.
No, I don't agree. Shaving's magnificent. I enjoy shaving.
Do you?
I do.
You do?
Well, what's wrong with shaving, man?
Well... I've tried, many different shaving foams and things, but you always get that slight nick on your face.
Well, grow a beard, then.
I've tried, but one side don't grow, as fast as the other side.
Yeah. Well, you're just funny looking, aren't you? What age are you?
I'd say so.
Yes,
as far as women goes, I mean, as that last caller, she expressed her views.
Mundane, though, weren't they? Bog standard stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got strong views on this matter. I mean, men, we suffer more than women, I think. We die early, don't we?
Yes, hopefully. Free call 0500, in some cases, 1053 89. Let's talk to Bill, who's calling from Bradford. Bill, you're on Talk Radio. Good afternoon. Hello there, Bill.
Are you still there?
I am still here. Thank you for asking.
Periods. I'd rather have a period any day. If our lass is out to go by, she has 2 days of what obvious discomfort.
Yeah.
And then she turns into this really lovely, caring, loving woman. I don't know where all these women from hell are, because I've never met one personally. You probably might have done.
But they do exist, I believe.
Yeah, well, I've never met one. She's... I'd rather...
Well, I've done a lot of work in the area of mental health, so I've seen some things you wouldn't want to know about.
Yeah, well, exactly, yeah. And, I mean, I'm 45, I haven't got a grey in my head, and I've got best part of both deals, I think. But I went to see an old mate of mine the other day. He's half my age. And the poor lad's gone bald over the last 12 months.
Oh, it's so sad to see.
Oh, Tommy, it's totally changed his personality and everything. Even the way he walks, he slumps about. He wears a hat in the house.
Yes.
A woolly hat.
I know.
And the poor lad's only about 27, I think.
I know. They suddenly stop going out. They stop drinking. They stop going to the cinema.
Yeah, he's miserable.
They won't play football.
I mean, I'm not saying he's totally introverted, but he's not the lad that he used to be. Happy and larky and all that sort of thing. He's totally changed. But as far as periods go, if our lass is out to go by, it's a doddle. I mean, obviously, like I say, a couple of days of pain, which even then she doesn't make a big issue of it. Yeah. I'll run her a hot bath and rub her neck for her massage, I'd calm her down and that. And then, like I say, a couple of days after that, she's just so lovely. She's so different, so caring.
You'd rather have periods any day.
I'd rather she were on a period most of the time. You know what I mean? But what it does to her personality. She must be a one-off, I don't know.
All right, Bill, we're breaking new ground here and we're holding it. Thank you for your support. What's worse, going bald or menstruating? Going bald. Going bald. Far worse, every time. Andy calls from Derby. Andy, you're on Talk Radio. You're on my side.
Morning.
Morning.
I am, yes.
Yes.
At least women can take a tablet to stop them having the periods.
Yes.
And they can take the altogether pill, the injection. That stops them having a period. I mean, normally if they're on the pill, they stop taking the pill 3 or 4 days before a period. And that's it, they have the period. But if they keep taking it, they don't have a period. I've been going bald since I was 14, since I used to watch you on Magpie.
Oh, Andy, I'm sorry.
But I think a bald man looks cleaner, though.
Where did your baldness start? In the middle of the back, like Prince Charles?
No, at the front of the forehead, started going back.
What, in the middle or at the sides?
At the sides.
Yeah, you get those two sort of avenues, don't you?
The one, yeah.
And then you end up with a Ray Reardon widow's peak.
And now it's at the back as well.
And you never know whether to part it.
No, you can't, because I've got a little tuft now at the front.
and I like Tony Blair, you see. I mean, I can guarantee you there's one thing that makes Tony Blair almost weep before he goes to bed every night. He might be the greatest Prime Minister the country's ever had. Okay? He might end up the first president of Europe. I think he will be.
No.
Right, but he can look at himself in the mirror every night, and instead of congratulating him on what he's got and what he's going to get, he looks at that little tuft he's got. Because he's a man.
It looks ridiculous, though, Tommy.
Poor lad.
Poor lad. Whenever I go for a haircut, that's the first thing I say. Cut that right down.
Yeah, of course.
That little tuft.
Yeah.
And also, you were saying before about the it's genetic. Losing hair loss is not genetic, Tommy.
It's not, is it?
It's not.
No.
Tommy, what's his name in the morning? Scott.
Yes.
Had a trichologist on there, a leading trichologist from London somewhere.
Yes.
And he explained that it was not genetic.
Oh, and what is it then?
I don't know, Tommy. It is not genetic, though.
Oh, what? Scott Chisholm found out what something isn't, but didn't find out what it is. I don't believe that. Was it time for time?
Totally listen to it. But the trichologist said, because that surprised me, I always thought it was genetic.
Yeah.
But no.
But we don't know what it is.
The trichologist said it was not genetic.
So Scott said to him, sir, what is male baldness? And the trichologist said, well, it's not genetic. And Scott said, genetic. So what is it? We don't know. I don't go along with this, Andy. I'm not convinced.
I think it was something to do with the hormones.
I'm not convinced.
Well, you ask Scott then.
I will.
He's still around, Scott, is. You ask him.
I will. I'll ask him. Thank you for your call. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Claire is in Gwent. You're on Talk Radio, Claire. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's worse, periods or going bald?
Period.
No.
Yeah, because I'm young, I'm married. My husband's only 26, and he's nearly bald.
Oh, poor lad.
No, why? Why poor lad?
Oh, poor lad. He's hiding it. He's hiding his pain. Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
He is. He doesn't want to confront you with his agony. Men are like that.
No, they're not.
We don't go on.
Well, if there's any problems...
Yeah, there are.
We talk it through.
He's protecting you.
He goes out, he enjoys himself. He doesn't care his head's going bald.
He does.
So what?
I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you.
Why, what's the problem with men going bald?
We don't want to go bald.
Well, what would you rather? Double up in pain in public? You go out for a drink, go to a party.
Can I put my hand on my heart and tell you, yes, I would rather do that than go bald.
And be embarrassed?
Yes.
And going bald?
Yes.
They say bald men are sexy. But
it's no consolation, whatever they say, mate. And we don't agree with it. Otherwise, why does Sean Connery always wear a hairpiece in his films?
I said to my husband, he's thin. His hair is thin. I said, have a number one. You're bald. I love you for who you are, not what you look like. If you had long hair down to the floor, I couldn't give a monkey's.
It's not that, mate. You see, what it is when you start to go bald, that's when you get this constant reminder that your body is deteriorating, because all our bodies are deteriorating. Yours is.
Yeah.
But you don't get reminded of it all the time. Do you?
Yeah, you put on weight.
That's not deterioration, that's gluttony.
Yeah, but as women, we get wrinkles quicker than men.
Yeah, but you don't notice them. They're not as obvious as going bald. And you don't get wrinkles. You don't get wrinkles until you're 40-something. Have you got wrinkles now at 24? No. Has he gone bald at 26? Yes. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand that.
You're on the back foot here now, aren't you, Claire?
No, I understand what you were saying.
All right, I'll do what I'll do. Shave your head for a week.
I don't want to shave my head.
Why not? Because you look stupid.
Because he likes me as I am.
Just shave yourself a nice pattern baldness. Shave yourself a monk's circle in the
I've
middle
had
of the
my
back.
hair short. I've had my hair really short.
Yes, you looked stupid, didn't you?
No.
Yes, you did.
No?
I bet you did.
I didn't think I looked stupid.
It's not for you to decide whether you look stupid. None of us think we look stupid.
Nobody... Yeah, people wind men up because they're going bald.
No, they don't.
So they don't pick on them, calling them slapheads and everything.
Only if they think they know them very well, but they do not know the pain they cause. It's like when men are fat. When women are fat.
I'm big.
Fat?
No, I'm not fat. I'm big. I'm
Well,
a
there's
big
no
girl.
conversation then if you're not fat. It's neither here nor there, is
I
it?
put on weight because I've had 2 children.
Yes.
My husband's putting on weight now, and he was thin as a rake.
And you're self-conscious about this, are you?
I don't care. As long as... Are you going bald?
Pardon?
Are you going bald?
No.
No.
I've got a full head of hair and it's luxuriant. It's fantastic, actually. Beautiful auburn, sort of fox red colour.
Have you got a partner?
A partner? Yes, I have. Got a partner.
Right. Does the partner love you for who you are or what you are?
There's more to my life than my partner's views on me.
As long as, if you've got someone, if you're single, fine. A lot of women love men with bald hair, with bald head. I don't care. It's what they want to look like that counts.
Superficial stuff, Claire, if you don't mind me saying so. I've read all that in the back of plenty of matchboxes.
But you don't... Have you ever seen a woman go through bad period pains?
By God, yes, I have.
Would you rather go through that?
Yes, and go bald. Honestly, I would, yes.
For a week? Go through really
For 20 years,
agony?
mate. For 20 years. Far rather. 3-call-0500 10 53 89. I would. I've got through lots of emotional turmoil in my life by going to the mirror and reminding myself that no matter what else is going on, I've got hair. What must it be like with life's ups and downs if you're a man and you're starting to go Bobby Charlton or whatever? Nightmare. 3-call-0500 10 53 89. Ray calls from the West Midlands. You're on Talk Radio. Ray, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Ray.
Yes, I listen to you quite a lot.
Really?
Don't always agree with what you say.
Is that right?
But this time I wholeheartedly agree with you.
Aye, thank you.
And I think you should ask the question of any woman that phoned you up.
Yes.
Would you rather continue with your menstruation
Yes.
till you're 40, when life begins?
Yep.
Or would you rather be bald tomorrow? And I think all us men know the answer.
Let's bring in a couple of people who I'm sure will agree with you, Ray, because this is one-way traffic in this hour of the programme. Let's see what Diane has to say, calling from the A52. Diane, you're through. Do you agree with Ray?
Yes, I do.
There, you see?
Yes.
Yes, get these whinging women off. Let's celebrate it. Goodness me, we're the lucky ones.
You are.
Aren't you just?
Yeah.
And also, there is a very old saying, vanity, my name is woman.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that not a fact?
Absolutely, yeah.
No, not when I'm around. It's not an exclusive fact. But anyway, let's bring Renee into the conversation as well, shall we? With Diane on the A52 and Ray in the West Midlands. Renee in Kent, you're on Talk Radio.
Hello, Tommy. Well, I had just rung up to agree with you, but Ray took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
I was going to say to you, go down the street, ask any woman you see, you can give up your periods, but you'll have to go bald.
Yeah.
Can you imagine any woman saying yes to that?
No.
Utterly ridiculous.
Poppycock.
Utterly ridiculous that any woman would go bald. So therefore, it's no question. But there are one or two little things I'd like to tell you while we're on here, and that is, you know, these you're thinking about whether it was genetic or not.
Yeah.
Well, I had two things about that. First of all, I had a young uncle in the war. He was in the desert, and he had beautiful, thick blonde hair before he went. When he came back, he was nearly bald, and he reckoned it was the heat of the desert and his tin helmet. Then my own husband, who was also had and his father had a huge, thick head of hair in his 60s. But my husband, who trained as a pilot during the war in America, in Florida, he said the same thing. He said it was the heat and his flying helmet, and he went bald very early. Well, they both said the same thing, and it did, and that's how it worked out.
John Inman always used to say it was where the pillow rubbed.
Well, you know, it seemed so funny that they were both, they were both in a hot place, and they both said that. But mind you, I was just putting that in as a suggestion.
Yeah.
But I just say one thing before I go. Actually, I like bald men.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
turn me on.
Yeah.
My husband was bald, and I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I
you
say
know they're
something else,
less likely
Tommy?
to run away. Of course you can, Ray.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of men are initially attracted by a woman's hair. This is why she spends so much money on it.
Yes.
But I think hair can turn you on. I love a woman with hairy arms and hairy legs.
Yes. They've got some things going for them.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Really?
I agree. I shaved my leg once to know, so that I knew what it was like. It's important, Ray, to experience as many things as possible.
Oh, in life, yes.
You only get one life.
That's right.
I shaved my leg, and when the hair was growing back, the stubble on it reminded me of this Italian girlfriend I had years ago. And so, if I had nothing else to do, I just used to rub the cushions of my fingers against my own leg and remember the woman.
But I think in the most romantic places of the body, there is hair.
Hair is there.
That's right.
Where we stare.
It's
Hey, it's true.
It's nice talking to you, Tommy. I must get back to work.
Till the next time. Bye, Ray.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your call too, Diane.
Hello. Yeah, no, I'm still here.
Yes.
I was just going to say, Tommy,
yes,
that I think that the reason I do want to substantiate this with some evidence.
Yes.
I think that what we can do, obviously, we have much more choice. These poor chaps have no choice, and there's nothing they can do about it when it's starting to go. We can at least deal with their periods by having all these anti-inflammatories, hormones, and deal with it in lots of different ways. We can be prepared for it. We know it's coming. We know almost, certainly I know almost to the hour when it's coming, so I can be prepared for it and have a wonderful side effect that for some reason, I don't know why, but for some reason I get on better with the opposite sex when I'm actually having a period.
Yes, this happens. It happens.
I think they can detect it. I think they know I'm on heat.
That's a beautiful way of putting it, Diane. Are you on heat at the moment?
No, I'm not.
No, I can tell that, you see, because I don't fancy you at all.
But I'll ring you up the next time I am.
Will you do that? I do what we'll do. Between now and the rest of the programme, all women calling, we'll guess whether they're having a period.
Well, anyway, you have a little poll amongst all the women and ask them if they'd rather go bald.
What we'll do is we'll have men on.
They wouldn't.
We'll have men on, and if we'll try and guess if they sound bald. And women will try and guess if they sound as though they're having a period. Diane and Renee, nice talking to you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, you two. Bye. Free call 0500 10 53 89. On first hearing, it's an open and shut case. What's worse, menstruating or going bald? But as the evidence stacks up, it's an exhilarating hour. You suddenly realise you think something that you didn't think you thought. It's baldness. It's baldness. Far worse than periods. Free call 0500 10 53 89. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. There's a good argument. Let's see whether Ollie sounds as though he has hair or not. You're on Talk Radio, Ollie in Dorset. Good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy. How are you?
Bald.
I'm bald and proud.
It was obvious.
What was it so obvious?
What?
Why was it so obvious?
It was just something about your voice.
You reckon?
The way it's cracked and yet adolescent.
No, the only way forward, if you're going bald, is to shave the lot off. It's masculine, isn't it? It's masculine.
Yes, but you'd rather have hair, wouldn't you?
To be honest, Tommy, I would, yes.
Of course you would.
But there's nothing you can do about it.
Good
There's no
for you,
point
man.
having a Bobby Charlton comb over.
Good
You might
for
as well
you.
have it all off and be done with it.
Good for you. My heart goes out to you.
You know, I knew it was going to happen.
Oh,
My
Ollie.
dad was bald, his four brothers are bald, and my granddad was bald.
My dad's bald and my brothers are bald and ooh.
Obviously, you're very fortunate then that you've not gone bald.
I tell you, man, I know there's a God because I've got hair.
But normally it's a knock-on effect, isn't it? You know, if
Yes.
your relatives are all bald around you, you're going to get it as well, you know.
Yes. At what age did you realise it was starting to happen?
25 years old.
Do you remember that moment when you looked in the mirror and suddenly saw hair on the scalp where
yes,
before
I
there'd
do,
been
yeah.
hair?
What it is you wake up in the morning and it's plastered all over your pillow.
Yeah. Oh.
That's when you know you're going.
Oh, mate.
But you just have to face the facts.
Oh.
I mean, initially I tried the old comb over as well.
Yeah.
But there's no point. You've got to get it off and be done with it.
Oh.
You know, and some women do find it attractive. In fact, I'd say quite a few women.
Yeah, but
Because they can't have it, can they?
you'd
You don't
still-
see women waltzing on with bald heads, do you?
You'd still rather have a bush of hair up there, wouldn't you?
Well, I would, Tommy, yeah. I'd like to have, you know the lead singer from The Verve?
Yeah.
I'd like to have it like that at the
Do
moment.
you still dream as though you've got hair?
Well, I'll do at times, yeah.
Because I sometimes dream I'm going bald, and I know that is because my id is speaking to me of my mortality.
Well, you're fortunate of having the option, haven't you?
Yeah,
You know,
I am.
You could have it all off.
I could.
At any stage.
Or I could die.
So all these women phoning in saying about period pains, I don't think there's any argument there at all.
There isn't, man, and this is an important point I wanted to make in this hour. I honestly believe that women's difficulties, and they are what they are, have had so much publicity over the last 15 or 20 years. Well, since Cosmopolitan, to be honest, the magazine.
Absolutely.
You know, But we're all going and going, oh, it must be terrible to be a woman. But there are things about being a man, that are pretty hard to bear. And frankly, going bald is one of them. It is.
And people they can't comprehend it unless it happens to them.
I think an awful lot of men end up in despair.
They do. Well, I was initially, but like I said, you just got to get on with it. Tommy, I'd love to stay on longer. I've got to go because I've got to pick my lovely wife up from work now.
Go do it. What does she do?
She works at Index.
Go do it.
I've got to do it. Right, Tommy. Nice talking to you.
Bye-bye, all. Free call 0500 10 53 89. What's worse, going bald or having periods? And since I mentioned it, is there a God? That's what we'll be discussing between 3 and 4. I'm Tommy Boyd. This is Talk Radio. And it's a colossal significance. We will never see another president of the United States who is bald, ever. The last one who was slightly receding was Richard Milhouse Nixon. So that's slammed the door on that one. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Kathy calls from Kent. You're on Talk Radio. Kathy, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
The worst thing, if you can hear me, hold on a second.
The worst thing is if I can hear you. I'll be the judge of that. That was deep.
The worst thing
yes.
is, apart from having a terrible 2-year-old, is having periods and also having male pattern alopecia, which is what I have.
Yeah, but that's alopecia. That's not baldness, is it?
It could well be.
Well, it's not really, is it?
It is, actually.
No, come on. You want the best of both worlds here. You want our sympathy for alopecia and our sympathy for periods.
Well, no, I just think I've beaten your argument, really.
No, you haven't, because male pattern baldness and alopecia are not the same thing, are they?
They are. I could well go bald.
Yes, you could well go bald.
By the time I'm 70.
Yes.
Oh, dear, my...
Yes.
You won't be able to hear me now.
Is your alopecia brought on by stress?
No, I wish it were, and then maybe I could do something about it.
What did bring it on?
It's hereditary.
Is it?
Can you hold on a second? Would you mind?
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
Wonder what she's going to do. There's not much she can do with it to you. What? That was impressive.
Hello?
Hey, that was impressive.
What? Silent.
Yes, how did you do that?
Obviously I didn't say very well.
He's got you. He's started up again.
So you just love him? Wouldn't be without him?
Absolutely. Oh, blimey. So, periods, alopecia, and a 2-year-old you can't control.
Yeah, and a wonderful 4-year-old.
Come on, what's worse then? Menstruation, baldness, or a 2-year-old you can't control?
I can control him, however...
No, you can't.
No, I can.
No, you
Oh, don't start that one.
You're hopeless. You're hopeless, Kathy. Why don't you just start all over again, mate? Eh?
I'd have nothing but girls, actually.
Who needs this life, eh? It's just a veil of
Girls
tears.
are wonderful. Boys are like this from time to time.
And he's got to listen to you saying that, has he?
No, he doesn't understand me.
At 2?
Everything's a game. Everything's a game at 2.
You don't think they can understand every word that you say?
Not every word, no.
You don't think he's listening to you, pretending he's messing about?
No, he's not listening to me right now.
He is. He's only messing about because he can tell that you are doing something else and he wants your attention.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But he's not listening to what I'm saying.
Yes,
he can't understand the content of what I'm saying.
Yes, he can. And he goes, why take the risk? Why take the risk? Why say something like that in his earshot and risk it? Supposing he is listening to you saying that you'd rather have had a girl.
No, I don't mean that. That
He's going
was
to
a
end up in
joke.
Wormwood Scrubs, isn't he?
Pardon?
He's going to end up in Wormwood Scrubs.
I doubt it.
Well, just mind your P's and Q's.
Yeah, okay, Tommy. Right.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Free call 0500 10 53 89. Ooh. You could sort of feel the two-ness of the person in the room. So it's like when somebody comes around to visit and they've got a couple of toddlers. The peace after they've gone is just worth enjoying for the first 5 minutes. So I just thought we'd just enjoy. Ray calls now from London. You're on Talk Radio. Ray, good afternoon.
Hello, Tommy.
Periods or baldness? What's worse?
Baldness, Tommy. I'll tell you why.
Yes?
I started going bald when I was about 22, 23.
Poor Ray.
It wouldn't be so bad, but, the most I had on my face was a little goatee beard.
Yes.
So, you can imagine the kind of things that people used to say.
Yes.
And I agree with you 100%.
Yes.
The worst thing about it, Tommy, is when someone comes up to you, and they don't even know you that well, and they go, "Oh, do you know you're going bald?"
Oh.
You know?
What do you do? Kind of go, "No, really?"
Well, no. Yeah, but to be honest, after a while, I started to try and be sarcastic. But at first, you try to, and it's normally when other people are around as well, so you try to look as though it doesn't really bother you.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, honestly, at that age, it was killing me.
You're right, you know, and it happened to me. I was 21, and I went to a nightclub to see some friends.
Uh-huh.
And one of my mate's girlfriends, as I arrived, just said to me, "You're going bald," like that. And I thought, what? But I've only looked in the mirror about 3/4 of an hour ago. It kind of set in on the bus.
Uh-huh.
So I joked, and then I went to the gents, but not straight away, because I didn't want to look worried. And I had a look, and I wasn't. And I came back and said to her, "Oh, by the way, I'm not going bald." She said, "No, I just wondered if you were." It's just that, she said, "It's just that Martin is going bald, and I wanted to make him feel better."
I must admit, Tommy, if I see any of my friends now and they're going a little bit bald, I laugh at them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm 32 now, and it doesn't bother me. What I do, I just shave my head every now and again.
Yeah.
And I'll make jokes about it myself. But in my early 20s, it was devastating.
Devastating is the word, right?
Believe you me, it's like everybody you saw, especially if you hadn't seen them for a little while, the first thing they looked at you and they went, "You're going bald."
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I would never go up to a woman and say,
"You're having a period."
Yeah, or "You're fat."
You're fat.
You're getting fat.
You're funny looking.
But people seem to think it doesn't bother you. And believe you me, I think if it wasn't for my wife and maybe my kids,
Yeah.
I would have been extremely depressed.
Well, we've started a ball rolling here, Ray, and hopefully we can just, sort of square this circle a little
And I know
bit.
which one I would choose.
Yeah, you'd rather have periods, wouldn't you?
I would, to be honest. My wife is probably listening now, but be honestly, I would have a period any time.
Ray, thank you for your call. Let me just go through the argument again. It's so easy, this one. Periods have a purpose. Baldness has no purpose whatsoever. Periods only happen monthly. Baldness is daily. Periods remind you of your youth and your vitality and your purpose on the planet, Baldness just reminds you that your body is starting to fall to pieces and that you're going to die. Menstruation goes away. Baldness is forever. Menstruation is secret. Baldness could not be more public. There are various medications you can buy to ease menstruation. With baldness, there's nothing, not even a painkiller. Menstruation doesn't affect the way you look to men, but baldness makes you look daft. Menstruation is cheap, baldness is extremely expensive. Menstruation is a shared thing, a common thing that all women enjoy. Baldness is selective. Some smug people, men like me, got a perfect head of hair. That makes the whole thing that much worse. And the other thing about menstruation is that it can affect the people around.